Hi, the SI meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Friday, January 24th. The big story remains the cold, the persistent cold, which will continue well into next week. The cold is not only here in the mid-Atlantic region, but throughout the eastern half of the nation, all the way down into the deep south. In fact, we'll see in a moment that the latest radar shows some snow all the way down into places like Louisiana, way down there in the deep south. The third night in a row here in the I-95 corridor with temperatures in the single digits in the early morning hours. Doesn't happen too often when you get 3 nights in a row around this part of the country with temperatures that low, not far from zero in many of the suburban locations of the big cities in the I-95 corridor. Another very cold today in store for the Mid-Atlantic region. Highs struggling to get through the teens, and wind chills will be below zero at times. Well, here's a current look at all those locations in blue here, represented by these blue circles that are at or near record lows. This is from the website coolweather.com. We've shown this particular chart the last couple of mornings to show how extensive and how extreme this cold air is. It goes all the way from New England down into the deep south. And again, there's some snow falling right now in this part of the country, and we'll see the radar in a moment. 3 inches of snow has already accumulated in Alexandria, Louisiana. And again, record or near record lows all the way down into the deep south with this current cold wave. Well, here's the latest radar loop from the Penn State EWAL site that has precipitation type by color. The whites and blues here represent snow. Again, 3 inches down in Alexandria, Louisiana. The pinks represent some kind of a frozen mixture of sleet, freezing rain. There were winter storm warnings all the way down into Galveston, Texas region and southeastern part of Texas. Again, this particular cold wave has extended all the way down to the Gulf Coast state, and next week's cold wave, with its origins up in Siberia, will be extensive as well, causing freezing conditions all the way down into the deep south. That arrives in the Mid-Atlantic region in full force on Tuesday and Wednesday. They will be incredibly cold days throughout the eastern half of the nation. Well, speaking of next week's cold wave, we've kind of had an emphasis on that. The fact that it crosses the pole, that particular air mass originated in Siberia, will cross the poles and has actually already crossed the pole and will move into the central and eastern U.S. early next week. Tuesday will be one of the coldest days in a long time throughout the eastern half of the nation. Again, from New England all the way down to Florida and across to Texas, it'll be brutally cold by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. This is the very latest GFS model run from 060 last night from weather.cod.edu website, and we're going to put it in motion. Notice this area right here, just to get oriented. This is the U.S. down in this region right in here, Florida right over here. So this is the U.S., Canada, and way up near the North Pole right here. The white here represents the coldest of this next particular Arctic air outbreak that, again, crossed the pole into the extreme northern part of Canada. We'll set this into motion and just watch this drop due south across central Canada into the northern U.S. And here's the northern U.S. right in here, the northern plains, and then works its way to the east coast by about Tuesday of next week. So let's set this in motion, and here it goes, dropping right from north to south across the pole and into Canada, and now dropping into the northern U.S., and then it waits for another clipper system to really come flooding into the eastern states. That clipper system could cause a few snow showers in the northeast, in the mid-Atlantic region on Monday, but then the brutal cold air will come from this particular air mass into the mid-Atlantic region on Tuesday and Wednesday. Again, a cross-polar type of cold air outbreak. Usually they are quite noteworthy, and indeed I expect some incredible cold throughout the eastern half of the nation Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Well, before we get to next week's cold wave in terms of the forecast maps from last night's 0Z GFS model run, let's look at the Saturday situation. We have another Arctic front approaching the Mid-Atlantic region on Saturday. It will cause some snow, perhaps a coating to an inch in some locations along the I-95 corridor. The main low associated with this next Arctic front will be over the Great Lakes. Expect some blizzard conditions here over the Great Lakes on Saturday with strong winds, bitter cold temperatures, and all that will be, that bitter cold air mass will be moving to the south and east. Here's the cold front as of tomorrow morning, cutting across the Ohio Valley. Quite a bit of moisture associated with this frontal system. Let's now jump ahead 12 hours. And here's the forecast map for tomorrow evening, Saturday evening. That frontal system reaches the eastern states. Again, occasional snow showers tomorrow could put down a coating to an inch of snow anywhere from D.C., especially across Philadelphia and New York City. There can be a coating to an inch or so with this next Arctic front that moves through the region later in the day on Saturday. That will be followed by some frigid air on Sunday. That air will relax some on Monday. We'll actually get up to the low 30s, perhaps even the mid 30s in some locations along the I-95 corridor on Monday before the next brutal outbreak occurs by Tuesday. In fact, let's jump ahead now. And here's the forecast map for Monday morning. That particular low pressure area that we've talked about the last couple of days associated with that Siberian air mass looks like it will go to the north of the I-95 corridor of D.C., Philadelphia, and New York City, thereby reducing the chance for any significant snow. There can be some snow shower activity on Monday, but here is a tremendous high pressure area as of Monday morning in the southern part of Canada, with just a fetch of air from way up northern Canada into the northern plains, and that will spread out to the east coast by the time Tuesday rolls around. In fact, let's jump ahead to the Tuesday morning forecast map. And here it is, the forecast map from last night's Zero-Z GFS model run. That high pressure drops all the way down into the northern plains. Still a fetch of air from way up in northern Canada, across the Great Lakes, right into the mid-Atlantic region. Tuesday will be one of the coldest days in a long, long time for basically this entire region. The eastern half of the nation will be in the brutal cold air mass come Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. And again, that particular air mass crossed the pole from Siberia, dropping due south across central Canada. So it does not have much time or ability to modify with a track like that from Siberia across the poles down across Canada. Not much water along the route there to help modify the temperatures. So expect a brutally cold day on Tuesday, and that will continue into Wednesday and extend all the way down into the deep south. That's it for now. For the SIweather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.